So I messed this one up, didn't I, huh? Ooh, that was definitely a bit of a doozy at the start, because we didn't get that initial Spirit Heart, which I usually rely on. As soon as I get it, of course, I use my Razor Blade to trigger that Horror Babylon transformation, and then I kind of feel safe because I also have the Spirit Heart, but also have the damage upgrade. But in this case, because we didn't get it, I feel like it was more of a decision. They want to play risky and be at 1 red health, but of course have more damage, or they want to be less risky and be at 2 red health, but of course only have 2.6 damage in return. And I feel like that decision is up to the player. It really all depends on how experienced you are, how maybe comfortable you are with the game. In the end, it does depend just maybe which direction you want to go. And for the most part, I was kind of staying on the safe side. I was staying with my 2.6 damage and Little Steven. I didn't want to risk it because it is a hard mode daily, so there's a lot of champion enemies, and you can never know. Maybe you wander into a boss trap room and there's like a champion Megamo in there, and we all know that boss is kind of a dickhead. Sometimes it can end up hitting you in a position where you really don't expect it, but I think the majority of cases I was safe until a certain point where I decided to risk it. Of course, I was like, I'm gonna use the Razor Blade here just to trigger my Horror Babylon transformation because there's a boss which has a lot of health, and there was a 9% chance of actually getting the Devil Deal, so I wasn't really banking on it. But of course it showed up, and then I was thinking, wait, I only have 1 red health, which means if I enter it and there's Krampus in there, there's actually a good chance I'm just gonna end up dying, because of course Krampus has a lot of attacks which are either very hard to dodge or in some cases just impossible. So I decided maybe I shouldn't do it, maybe I should do it, and of course I decided to go for it because odds are it's not gonna be Krampus. Of course it's just gonna be a regular Devil Deal with maybe like some red chest or something. Maybe I'm gonna get the Spirit Heart in return, but of course, as you might have predicted, there was Krampus in there, and I was fighting Krampus and he did some of his spinny brimstone attacks and I ended up dying. So it was kind of a bummer in some regard, but also if you kind of look at the run before that, I feel like I made some lapses in judgment. Like, I just keep forgetting some things. I think I was kind of preoccupied with some thinking about other things. Like, for example, I had the treasure room on the 2nd floor, and of course there was Spider Bite in it, and I didn't pick it up intentionally. But I had 3 cents at the end of the floor, and I could have easily gotten back to reroll and hopefully gotten something better. And I'm not really sure what it is. I'm actually gonna go test it out after I record the video because I'm really curious, just to see basically what's in there. But yeah, like I was saying here, I did get hit once. I used the Razor Blade. I entered the the Krampus room, and yeah, he did a few of his spinny brimstone attacks, and he was kind of unrelentless. Usually he does 1 or 2 when I fight him, but today he did like 3. And he was about to do the 4th one if you kind of look at his animation, but of course, at that point it was already a bit too late. And I was really kind of afraid because you never know which direction to dodge. You don't know if it's gonna be a diagonal one, if it's gonna be a straight one, and ultimately what this affects really is my overall time ranking. Like, I didn't drop a lot. Like, obviously it's a really, really bad score. I was like in the top 50%. But my relative ranking dropped from like 4.5 to 4.65, so I'm still in the top 5%, but the problem is that every time I get a really good score, my ranking only increases by 0.01 on 0.02, so that means I need like 10 dailies in a row where I perform really well to kind of get back to where I was, but I don't think that's gonna be a big problem. I'm not saying that to kind of, I'm saying that to encourage myself, not to maybe come off cocky. I just feel like maybe I've had a few very unfortunate dailies in like the past 2 weeks, and I'm ready to put that behind me. I was kind of excited for this one because it's a Mega Satan daily. Of course, we're going to the end, so I felt like this was my time to shine. But of course, as it ended up happening, that 9% chance combined with Krampus doing some of his brimstone attacks was a bit too much for me to handle, at least today. But I hope maybe because it's a short daily, I have some more time to kind of relax, get into it, and come back tomorrow with a fresh mind. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.